Helicopter! Hello, everyone. Hi, how's it going? I hope you're well. Good to see you. Sorry it took me so long. I had to wash my hair, and that's why it's in a bun, because it is drying. Here's Marv. Hi, Drumans. I'm just going to call you Waba because I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. Hello. Stephen Woods, welcome. Orion, welcome. Good to see you again. I didn't know there was a new Jurassic Park movie. I'm doing better. Hi, Trev. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Oh, I got to put on the live chat here, not the top chat. Live chat. Yeah, it's Merv. Here's Marvin. Oh, she's just feeling all lovey, getting all petted up. Oh, that's cool. No, I didn't even know that there was a new Jurassic World movie coming out. The last one made me kind of sad when they all died on the island there, and the long necks were falling at the end. I was definitely crying. So that's cool. I just had this shirt because it reminds me of my childhood, and I was really, really into Jurassic Park when I was young. And I think I saw this t-shirt at Walmart a couple years ago, and it was on sale, so I bought it. And that's how I got this t-shirt. So I hope you guys like Jurassic Park too. Not the second one, but like also. Yeah, you only saw the first one? You should definitely watch them. They're really good. They're really, really good. So I went for a walk today, and I've been doing not the same walk. I'll go either in one direction or the other. But I like, so it's either towards the stores way, or the lake. And because it's nice, because it's not that far away, like for shopping that I need to do. But I find that the way to the lake is a lot more scenic, even though it's on a main road and there is, not too much traffic. But the cars whooshing by kind of are a bummer, but you make the best of it, and the sun was out and shining, and I ate well today. I started eating well again on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It was on Tuesday at dinner time, so I was grateful for that. So yeah. I don't know what you mean. You almost bought one. Bought one what? A dinosaur? You can't buy them anymore. They're extinct. I'm not trying to, sell anything. Yeah, I figured. Sometimes I probably should schedule the live like before, but I just didn't think of it. Hi, MK. I'm gonna call you that. MK. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. So if you've been with me the last week, the grandpa in the first one, well, I don't think, all right, so we're going to talk about Jurassic Park. The elderly man in Jurassic Park 1 was actually an extraordinary scientist and an incredible thinker. I think the idea was great, the application was shit. And I think they overstepped what they could control out of arrogance and all of that. And that's a problem. Sure, bring some of the dinosaurs back if you can. But what they did was they wanted to make the most money out of things. And of course, people want to see a T-Rex eating a goat. So, it's just kind of the lesson in life, really, is that when you kind of overreach and the greed overtakes the original message or idea, because that would be truly wonderful. But there has to be limitations. And that's why I say, we have movies as examples because, well, look what happened in Jurassic Park. Should we really even attempt to do something like that, But I don't think that he was a madman. I think that a lot of people who are extremely intelligent and are progressive thinkers are deemed as such, including Albert Einstein with his wacky ass hair. So, well, you were most welcome here, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I do apologize for the last week. This has happened before. I checked on my Telegram in about October. So, yeah, I apologize for that also. Hello, Dominique. Welcome. What do you think about the wolves they brought back? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember that, Stephen. I can't remember that offhand. Which one was that in? I can't remember. Oh, you mean that dire wolf thing that they're talking about online? Not in Jurassic Park, right? I think that's what you must mean, because I don't remember that in Jurassic Park. But I did see something about that on the MSN thing. When you check the weather and that thing pops up, it'll tell you like little news things. They didn't create dire wolves. They created something else, but I didn't even look into it yet. That must be what you mean. I mean, it's always a risk. I'm not sure why you need to. Hello, Lee. Welcome. To bring things like this. I mean, yes, it's nice for us to see, like, it would be nice, but is it right? I don't know. I think that things have their time and place in time. Yeah, that's what I figured. And they were made the way that they were to survive in certain environments, even whether they were very large, or even the saber-toothed tiger with these, big, large teeth and things like that. They were designed this way. I mean, the saber-toothed tiger, I think, could take down the mammoth and things like that. And the mammoth is of great size. So, I don't know. It is interesting. But like I said, you have to really think about, is it right and wrong? Because say if you create something and then it becomes uncontrollable, you have to destroy it. And, lives matter. This is a life you've created. So you are responsible for it and responsible for what happens with it. If somebody gets their arm bitten off, if it gets free or whatever. So, I mean, it is cool. I heard many years ago that they took chicken DNA and mixed it with some type of reptile, or they were trying to create like a chicken T-Rex, but a very small one. You can look up that. They did something, or they were attempting to with a chicken years ago to add like a so that the chicken grew teeth and had claws, things like that. Yeah. As I sit here with my hand like this, is what I call dinosaur hands. Where you sit there and you're like, what was I doing again? Oh, yeah. You're off. There's a lot of people that do that. You'll notice it. Yeah, dinosaur hands. Where was I? So, yeah. Is it in real life? The chicken thing? Yeah. Yeah, the chicken thing was real. There were scientists that were doing genetic experimentation. Hi, Christina. Welcome. If I didn't say hi to you, Lee. Hello. Welcome. Okay. So now I'm just... Oh, Dennis. I don't know who that is. Hold on. I think I missed a comment. Inspires smaller greedies more, I think. I don't know who that is. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, you mean the doctor in Jurassic Park, right? Oh yeah, Sailor Moon. Sailor Cosmos is Sailor Moon from the future. Yeah, in the far, far future. So when she is in the future as a mother and a wife, she doesn't take on the sailor soldier role, but she's still a soldier in a sense, where she becomes Sailor Cosmos, which is her ultimate form, which is like her ultimate divine feminine form, where she definitely has her white hair. And this comes from, I was actually reading The Secret Teachings of All Ages when it talked about this mysterious woman on the moon that has long white flowing hair, just like behind me here. That's her there. And so it's actually connected to the esoteric, and probably most likely the Sophia, the cosmos. So yeah, that's very exciting. I'm very proud of you and very grateful that you did that. That clearly makes me happy. Yeah, it's interesting because at certain points in the show, Sailor Moon will meet her future self and have like these brief encounters. And it's very beautiful. I keep getting sidetracked, but I'll get this out first. I watched Spider-Man Across the Multiverse and Through the Multiverse. There's two of them now, and I've seen both. And the newer one, I think, is Through the Multiverse. And there's a concept that I didn't quite include. I've seen it before. I think it's in Marvel, where you'll have like, because this was in Spider-Man, and it says like Earth 5,567 or whatever. But it's always Earth, blah, 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 blah. So it's almost like there are all these different versions of Earth and how it could have been or something. I don't know. In that kind of multiverse theory, but I thought that was really interesting because what was happening is that Spider-Man, in that his name is Miles, he's a young boy, about 15, 14 years old. And, oh, I forgot to do the chat. Sorry, hold on. I just seen someone in Entropia Universe. Hello, welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hi, Shelley. Hi, LT. Yes, I am doing better. I'm going to talk about the main subject soon. I just want to finish this. So, in Spider Man, he was meeting different versions of himself. And he actually found himself in a world where there was no Spider Man, where he never got bit by the spider. And it's actually quite dark and dystopian like. Aw, isn't that cute? Yeah, there are a lot of people who were influenced by Sailor Moon in one way or another. I didn't have any role models or anyone teach me about courage and friendship and loyalty and love. And I already said friendship, I almost repeated myself, and stuff like that. So I learned it from TV, you know? And because I loved that show so dearly, I do believe that it influenced a lot of my character and the way that my heart self formed, the way that I love. Oh, yeah, that fella there. Oh, Dennis, yes, that's who that guy is. Yeah, see, I don't know the name, but if you describe him, the guy who got the Dilophosaurus stuff in the face, eh? Yeah, that guy was kind of funny, but he totally deserved that. What a dick. I mean, what a jerk. Yeah, and he was stealing all of that, and everybody trusted him. I mean, that's the type of person you have to worry about everywhere. The one that will throw everybody under the bus and run off like that, you know? Put everybody in jeopardy and danger, even if he doesn't think it's a big deal. Such a selfish person. But that is a perfect example, And I mean, karma got him in the end, but, a lot of the times that doesn't happen, unfortunately. That does happen in movies, and we like to see it, but these little shitheads get away with it a lot. Okay. In balance with you. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you. Yeah, JB, I'm really sorry that I snapped at you. I was really hoping that you would return, and if other people, were put off by the whole thing or were worried about me, I do deeply apologize. I don't do it for attention. I don't do it on purpose. And sometimes I'm like that for multiple days. So, really, I'm going to tell you what happened, but it started Thursday. By Friday, I lost my appetite. Couldn't eat Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then on Tuesday, I ate a little bit here and there, but very little. And then on Tuesday, by dinner time, I was finally able to eat a meal. Um, I, I'm trying to. Anyway, I'm sorry, and I'm glad that you're back. This isn't something that's easy for me. It's something that I've struggled with. It's one of the reasons, if you can't tell, why I destroy any kind of relationships I've had, whether it be friendships or whatever. Even if, they're not doing anything wrong, sometimes I perceive that they are because of other people's past actions. And, you know, I've tried to control my thought patterns, and then you get the PTSD flashbacks and, the EDMR, whatever that shit is, and the colors and the tapping and whatever. There's only so much a person can do with this. I've talked about this to many doctors, therapists. Stuff. Is this something that occurs? Unfortunately, I've tried many medications for it, and the problem is, which has been the conclusion, because I can't just keep going back to these places over and over and over again. I mean, they can listen to me, but at the same time, if I don't want medication and I don't, want to do something like, oh, hi, GH, good to see you. Thanks. I appreciate that. They've just said, because I lack a support system in my life, like really, I just needed to be hugged. In fact, I think it was Tuesday morning when I started to come out of it that I woke up, and that was the first thing I heard in my head, almost like, I heard, you need a hug. Yeah. And then I started to cry because it's true. That's really all you need sometimes. And it's been a long time. I don't really remember what that's like, that fulfilling, renewing type of hug, not just those empty hugs that you give in passing. Well, part of it is from, hi Raina, by the way, part of it is from being adopted. It is true. And I'm going to start off with that. So my mom was 15 when she had me, gave me up right away for adoption. She didn't hold me. She even told me that. She turned her head and they took me away. I stayed in an incubator. Thanks, JB. I appreciate that. I am not very easy to deal with sometimes, but I find that through honesty and the compassion, understanding of others, and also having that for myself, I get through it somehow. Well, I mean, permanent, maybe. I will always have hope that it can be fixed because I have very strong family values, surprisingly, even though I grew up not having that. Like, I've always wanted that when I incorporate myself in other people's families. It's always been a very special thing for me. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your hugs and your love. I appreciate it. Oh, there. So yeah. And you know what? I think it's because when they know that they're going to give away a child for adoption, that it's very hard. I think it was already difficult for her to do to begin with. And then, just didn't even want that attachment, I guess. So we'll just leave it at that. So then I was in the incubator because I was only like just a little tiny baby, like 6.5 pounds, 6.5 pounds, or and then the demon Debbie came to claim me, and her and my adopted dad were nonstop fighting until I was probably there. It was just an unsafe environment all the time. He wasn't really there. He was a workaholic a lot, but when they were there, it was pretty much chaos all the time. Of course, I can't remember when I was very little, but well, I mean, that's not really nice to say those things to you. My mother did tell me that she took care of me while she was pregnant. So, but by the time I was about 7, they had divorced. Debbie had cheated and brought a strange man home. And then the violence just got more and more until I got to be about 17 years old. There had been many attempts to get out of there, going to guidance counselors, doctors, whatever. Social services had been to my house many times, but somehow, because of Debbie's profession and all of that, and her unbelievable acting skills, I mean, this was a person that forced my dad to go and get a vasectomy and told him, like yelling and screaming, that if she couldn't have kids, either could he. So this was the type of person she was. She was very hateful and jealous of me. And by the time I was 7 years old, she stopped being a mother completely. So that means no more breakfast, no more lunch, no more supper. I was doing all of the chores, all of the cooking, all of the cleaning, all of the laundry. No help with any school, no extracurricular activities, no school clothes, no new school bags, none of it. Teachers had to write letters home to threaten her with social services if they didn't get me eyeglasses and stuff like this. So, it was pretty extreme. The stuff that I can remember, there was no sexual violence, but the emotional, mental, and physical violence was more than enough. But, I used to think that they might have been possessed by demons because of the ferociousness of their attacks. And because of its randomness, She'd punch me in the face if the towels weren't. And she'd punch me in the face this way. Bang. with the back of her hand on the side of my face to leave less marks. And the reason why I know that is because repeating the story over and over again, the doctors will be like, yeah, that's how you don't leave marks. That's how I learned that, by describing how they would harm me. So, lasting marks anyway. I was locked in my room, not given food. Then eventually they took my door off so they could monitor me all the time. Monitored in the shower. They would do psychological stuff like make me wash their clothes, but then I wouldn't be able to wash my own. And they would send me to school without letting me brush my teeth and stuff like that. Or having clean clothes. Or send me to, I would get up in the morning to try to get my clothes cleaned, and they wouldn't be dried enough. And so I would have to go to school in wet clothes. Yeah. And then I starved all day. I couldn't concentrate in school, so my grades suffered and all that, So what happens when you have this? Because I definitely started having blowout panic attacks about it by the time I was 9 years old. So I've been dealing with this since I was 9. But, I just lost my train of thought about it. Dealing with it since I was 9. I didn't know that it was actually happening. I didn't know what was wrong. It wasn't until I was 23. Oh, right. I remember. When you have CPTSD and you go out into the world, normally what happens, and what happened to me, is because I didn't know how to deal with people. I almost felt like a wild animal being released back into the wild and not really knowing what to do. And so I had no experience. I spent a lot of the time sheltered. I wasn't allowed to have people over, none of this. So I didn't really know what to expect when I got out into the world, that's for sure. But I got re-victimized over and over because people would see that I was vulnerable and a nice person and a loving person and then take advantage, right? Yeah. Well, losing the train of thoughts from the marijuana smoking and also the PTSD causes the short-term memory loss. So at first I didn't remember what happened at all. After I had my freak out, then I eventually had to go back and relook at what I had said. And I don't want to keep reminded of the thing with the guy in the parking lot. Okay. I'm going to have to deal with that the best I can. But I did take down that post, but at least there are some people who have seen it. But I don't want to address that today. But that is one of the ways that I was re-victimized. And a lot of the times, because of the way that I look, this isn't something that you can tell that I have just by looking at me. And a lot of the times, people didn't even know what it is or didn't believe that I had it, So thank you very much, Imbalance with you. I'm sorry that even happened because I know that that's painful for other people to see. But what happens is I hold things in and it accumulates almost like a volcano, and it fills up and it fills up, fills up, and boom. You see what I'm saying? And I try to address it and I try to talk to people and explain it as truthfully and clearly as I can to get some type of understanding. But then we'll have this. But there's a reason. So last Thursday, I went to the massage school, the college there, and I paid $25 for an hour, and they'll massage whatever you want. I had my head and crown worked on it. I released a lot of really good energy, my neck, my upper back. There was so many knots. She was like, ooh, and working them out. And then I would get these weird tinglies going all down my side of my leg. It was so nice. She did an excellent job. And But now that's going to be closed until school starts back up in the fall, right? Because it's a college, but I'll be able to go back again starting in the fall. Sorry. You might be able to do this in your area. So look and see if there's a massage college or college that does massage, and the students need volunteers to practice on. And you just have to pay a little bit, maybe, but sometimes not. So at least try. And then, so if it's, if you can't afford the traditional prices of massage and how expensive it is now, then there's an alternative option. And like I said, it was not subpar. Like, it wasn't like, oh, a student, I don't want that. Nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I found that it helped. But then I made the mistake. I was so thirsty afterwards. Your body has different reactions. The last time I got really hungry, and this time I was really thirsty. And so when I got on the bus and I went downtown to get the connecting bus to go home, I made the mistake of going to the Tim Hortons downtown. I hadn't been there in a while. Even though I was aware it was like that, it was almost like I was culture shocked already, because the entire place was packed with people that were on the drugs that make you seem like you're transforming into a zombie and flailing all over the place and that shit. And there was a child in there. And the security guard was just like, "Miss, are you going to buy something?" And I'm like, "Are you serious? She looks like she's about to transform into something else." That. And there was just so many people in there. I think it was that really got me going, and it upset me to see society this way and how filthy it was downtown. And it made me grateful that I don't live there anymore. But the experience, I don't know. I think it must have been that to help, Of course, I was stressed going downtown anyway, but I don't know. I think it was just like I said, it accumulated over time, and I blew up like that. And I apologize, It's not like, it was very aggressive. I could have been a lot nicer. Especially with some of the things I expressed. Well, yeah, like a zombie video game. Yeah, it is. It is. It's almost like a zombie video game out there. I agree, Jay White. But, I spent a while, and it's almost like you can see me and I'm walking around and I'm doing stuff, but I'm not really here. And a lot of the time what happens is I'll get caught reliving. It's usually the thing with that guy. It's not the stuff with my parents. It's the thing with that guy. And I relive that, trying to figure out, what, and I understand that. Okay, just let me explain first. So I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong, what I could have done differently, sometimes imagining, how the situation would have been if I had done so, and things like that. You just kind of get caught up in it like a tornado. It's really not a nice thing to be in at all. My stomach will just turn into a ball, and it's not hungry at all, which makes me feel worse. So there was a time when I didn't know, how to deal with it at all. And I'm glad that it's not like it used to be. But it's definitely something that's difficult and has held me back in my life. Like, I'll make progress forward, I'll get a job, I'll be doing well, and then this hits me like a tidal wave. And sometimes it'll just be from a terrible dream that I have. And no matter how much I clear things or talk to myself about it, forgive and give self-love and forgiveness and all of this, compassion, even for the other person, as much as I possibly can, it's just something that I'm still working through. And, it does make me a bit sad that, like I said, I have pushed people away. Sometimes I do it, though, to protect them. But sometimes I am protecting myself, even if it's only perceived as such. There may be no danger. But because of similar circumstances, it's almost like my brain recognizes these patterns. P.S. I grew my nails really nice and long. I don't know if you could tell, but they're really nice and long. I'd love to go to the nail salon, but I can't because I have to be really careful and cautious about my money. So I haven't been able to go and get spring nails done and just like get them painted because I can't paint them myself. I tried. The other day I did this hand. I mean, I could do like sparklies with like clear because you can't see how shitty of a job I did. It looks fine. Happy spring. Thank you. Well, no, it's not exactly survival mode, and that's the mumbo jumbo of the internet. Again, a lot of people do not live with what I'm living with. This is extreme circumstances of extreme violence for long periods of time. So not only was I being abused and neglected at home, but I was being abused at school, bullied really badly. I just was the type I didn't want to, like, for instance, my best friend was hanging out with all of the people who bullied me. So my childhood bullies were hanging out with my best friend, and clearly she wasn't. After all these years, I realized that she's still friends with them. So, and the relationship wasn't reciprocal. Like, I realized, I was just thinking when I got out of the shower and I was like doing my hair and stuff, because my long hair reminds me of her long hair, and we've been growing our hair long for years. But like, I realized, like, I was the one writing letters. Even when we started talking as adults, I was writing letters. I was sending Christmas cards and all of this, and there was no reciprocal energy. I was always the one to rekindle the friendship after we would stop talking. I would always try to, yeah. And I guess, a lot of these pinnacle relationships in your life that, we have throughout in stages of our life, it just, for one reason or another, there were things that I couldn't have in my life anymore either. Like, I was doing really well. And I even made my workout video, and I had this plan, and I started to execute it, and then bam, just like that. So that's why I am on the disability program that I am. That's how I lost my job. This attacked me again. And I needed quite some time to recover. It wasn't the children I was working with, it was the adults at my job. And it's really unfortunate because I was excellent at that. And I always express a lot of like regret whenever I talk about it, or like these feelings of if only it could have been different. I was supporting myself, making good money, feeling really good about myself and a good energy, just by knowing that I was moving things forward. Hey, Time Watch 5, welcome. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if other women know this, or even men, but there's something called male-centered women. So they're women that will center everything around the male in their life, usually their romantic partner. This is why I couldn't understand. Every single time I would get a girlfriend, like a girl that is a friend, and she'd get a boyfriend, she would disappear and I wouldn't hear from her. Or the only time I would is when they were having a problem and she wanted to come over and talk to me about it. The majority of my friendships were like this. They just weren't reciprocated. No matter how much I gave or how much I did or how much of a friend I was, there was no reciprocation, or it was usually they ended up being a terrible friend. But I couldn't tell. That's one of the things, you have a difficult time being able to tell who really cares for you and who doesn't. So it's unfortunate because no matter what I've had going on, no matter what my circumstances were, there would always be a reason as to why people would find, I'm sorry, my friggin' sinuses and everything, find that I don't have value to them. And that's the thing. This is not what we're supposed to do. JB says a lot of people disappear once they have a significant other. They do. Guys and girls. This is not what we do. This is why friendships and all of that, they don't last. And there's no bonds between people. This is how our society has degraded. Almost like using people like they're disposable. Oh, I'll just get a new one. But there's not any other of any one of us. And that's what I was tired of. Like, I wanted people to see and love me for who I was. I don't mean like enable a person, but like take it for this, for instance. Oh, I got way off of track. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, I forgot again. Fuck. Fuck. Okay, hang on. Let me try. Now you disappear. You're not supposed to do that. Society is degraded. Like, people are disposable. There's only one, every one of us. Oh, it was like people didn't actually see and appreciate me for who I was. Like, people would tell me that I could talk about certain things, but then they would shut me down and say, well, you can come and hang out with us, but you can't talk about this, and this. It was almost like, well, a lot of them, yeah, I've done that. Which one? Which disappearing friend? Because all of them disappeared when they got a partner. And I thought it was something that I was doing wrong. But that's actually, like I was saying, like, it's a very self-centered thing. And I think that our society has come to normalize this. And it's not normal at all. Not normal at all. No, I believe you. See, I know it's hard out there for a lot of people, and it's because our society as a whole has become so damaged, so superficial and fake. Social media, Instagram, filters, lip fillers. Look, wait, how do I do that? There. You look like this fuck. I can't even do it. But those stupid ass lips and those big ugly ass fake titties, all the plastic nasty ass surgery, fillers, Botox, all of this shit, makeup this thick, hair extensions, fake nails, and all of it. Like, it's, I'm not just trying to diss on women there, because you see that with men too, and just the taking pictures of yourself every day and all this spiritual nonsense bullshit that's so fake it makes you want to throw up. Well, there's a lot of people that do, and that's the thing. Our society made these people influencers, and on top pressing like, watching them, touching yourselves to them and all of this stuff, and it just degraded everything. People learned that they could make money off of it and all of this, and it's just, whoa, now it's real bad. Really bad. I try not to pay attention to it, but it was everywhere. It's just, I don't know. Brother, what's that? What is that? Remember that? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. And I think we have a lot of people claiming authenticity and being genuine, when I don't know. It's not that I have no desire whatsoever to end up looking like Madonna. And even though I have flaws and I'm going to age, this is something that you accept about yourself. You take care of yourself. Sure, you use lotions, dyeing your hair isn't so bad. But when you start looking like a crazy ass clown from the Insane Clown Posse, this is a problem. And what I was going to mention, what I forgot about. So I did try to build a relationship with my birth family. I forgot about this part. This is one of the most, because it's the most recent. I didn't find this out until 2022. Because my birth mother one day just kicked me out of their lives. Had a yard sale, sold everything. My comic book collection, all my favorite childhood toys, my reindeer, all of it. And I didn't know why. And for many years, I wandered and wondered, because I wandered out in the world. I had to, at that point, I decided to leave the country, and I went to California. And I just had enough. So I just decided to leave the country. But I wondered for a very long time what I had done. Every single one of them too. Like, and not one of my family members from before. But I realized how evil Demon Debbie was in 2022, because she ended up calling my birth family, my birth mother specifically, and telling her that I was going to unalive them. Her and my brother, my younger brother specifically. And ruined any chances of me having a family at all. Again, remember what she did to my dad with the vasectomy? If I can't have it, no one can, right? If I can't have you, no one can. So that's one of the reasons why I tried to get as far away from her as possible. At the time, I thought she was psychotic and crazy enough to track me down and unalive me. And I know it's a risk today of being online, and it's something that I do think about, because I wouldn't want her sitting here even to be able to see me or enjoy my channel or get my book. But that's why I make it very clear, and I even call her Demon Debbie in my book, so that she knows how I feel about her. Like, there's only so much forgiveness you can give, but then you never want these people back in your life, because they are extremely dangerous. I I believe that if I stayed any longer than I did, and it was a good thing that my neighbors, it wasn't me, it was my neighbors that saved my life. Finally, and she wasn't taking no for an answer. So I'm very grateful for her and that she got me out of the situation that I was in and finally talked to social services. It was like I needed an advocate. No one in my family would stick up for me. You know, they would always blame it on my stepdad or whatever. She had been adulterous and brought him home right away. So it was like my dad left and then there was this guy. In fact, before I knew what was happening, she brought me with her to this guy's house, said, "Oh, this is my friend," while she's cheating on my dad. So, you know, had my dad pick her up at the man's house that she's cheating on him with. Oh yeah, my adopted parents were fighting. We went to the zoo with my other family members one time. It's actually not a zoo. It's like an animal sanctuary in Nova Scotia. And they were fighting so much, so loud, and the entire way, it's like 45-minute drive, and they were just relentlessly fighting. And so when we pulled in the parking lot, and the parking lot has like hay on top, I don't know why, but it did. It had hay like on top of it. And then there was like the parking spaces. Maybe because there was a lot of mud at the time, I'm not sure. But anyway, there was a ton of hay. And so my dad had pulled in to this parking spot. And I jumped out of the car, but I got caught on my seatbelt. And my legs ended up slipping underneath. So I was like on my belly. And I'd gotten off the seatbelt. They hadn't parked. So I was in front of the back tires, but the tires in front ran over my legs. But I was okay. Because of the hay, it just kind of pushed me down, and I had a little couple of scrapes and cuts and bruises or whatever. The next day I had a little bruise, but I was fine. They ran me over, though, at the zoo. So, yeah, I've been processing since 2022, you know, that's the reason why I lost any chance of having any family whatsoever. I went into a group home after I was removed from my home. I spent about a year and a half there. So, yeah, thanks. No, it's okay. It's just basically a series of unfortunate events that isn't very common of circumstances. Like I don't have any brothers or sisters or cousins that kept in contact. None of it. And none of them. It was like they did not believe what I was experiencing because of Demon Debbie's reputation. You wouldn't think that she's this type of person. You wouldn't. She was a PSW. She worked at a hospital with old people. She went to people's homes and looked after the elderly, awards, gifts, and all that, but they didn't know what she was coming home and doing to me. I don't know if she ever had any. She probably secretly mistreated, like said really evil things to the elderly or whatever, but she wouldn't let other people see that because her reputation to her was extraordinarily important. So probably still to this day, that woman goes around being like, "Oh, my daughter ran away from me." And then what she really wants is for people to be like, "Oh, Debbie, it's okay, Debbie. Don't cry. Don't cry. You did the best you could." Oh, yeah, that's what she fucking wants. And it's you know, it's just the way it is. Some people don't change, but it is. But we can. And that's what I've tried. What I never wanted was to be like them. And I didn't actually think that she was as evil as she was. And probably still is. But, you know, I would have hoped, this is definitely not how I saw my future looking when I was young, especially at the age that I am now. So, you know, I've really tried, and it's sad that people couldn't see the potential of what love and TLC could do. Of course, it has to be reciprocal, but it's almost like I'm seeing a withered plant. It just needs TLC. It can be brought back. It's not dead. So, I spent a long time in a relationship that I knew wasn't good for me, but I thought he's a nice guy, and he clearly cares for me, and I wasn't using him, but I never had any kind of special feelings. And if I did, they weren't felt back for me. So that was just something, a lot of people have done that, unfortunately, and it's a waste of time in your life. Because if I hadn't wasted so much time there, I could have tried to find something that would have lasted. But again, I was thinking, well, this is good enough, I guess. It doesn't really sound the greatest. Again, I have trouble expressing feelings, especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships. I Sorry, I just trailed off. Well, this is the thing. With all the stuff that I have going against me now, the alien stuff and all of these, people normally don't take the time to bother. A lot of people don't truly give a shit about others, so they'll only give them 5 or 10 minutes of their time, if that. It's very rare that people watch an entirety of a video. So I just feel like it's so difficult to get to know people. I have no interest in social media in the way of Instagram or something like this. I feel like that is just not for me. So I don't know. I live in a very small town. I was looking for a connection that was a match in mind, heart as in emotional maturity and intelligence, body as in chemistry, and the ability to share deep emotional intimacy with someone. There's just not a lot of people, and I don't expect like perfection. Like I don't care if, he's got a car, we can take the bus. The job thing doesn't matter as long as he's supporting himself and he's happy with that. Great. I do what I can. I'm not saying, well, I don't have a job, even if it was somebody like me who was on disability, it's fine. As long as, you're taking care of yourself, you've got your own place and all set up, you're not like homeless. But yeah, the stuff that I said, I have tried to get to know people online. It went horribly. Finally, when I give somebody a chance after a really long time, went really bad. So, and that again is because, naive, vulnerable, thinking that someone's not what you initially thought. You should really listen to your intuition. Just like what happened to me with the Asura. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, is that me? And holy shit, after all these years, it was me. That's your intuition first telling you. I watched a story the other day. It was heartbreaking about this fella who was in a relationship. He thought he met the love of his life. He was going to marry her. He went away for work for one weekend and she was cheating with his best friend. You know, but this is what he said. He said, I knew right from the get-go there were red flags and signs, and I felt like this isn't going to work. But he's like, I thought I could fix her, he said. We always know. I'm trying to justify some of the stuff I've seen on Instagram. And I don't know. And it's like, well, I don't look like that. I have no need. Like, it's not like I don't like to look nice or I don't like nice things or I'm lazy. I'll get ready and dressed up when the occasion calls for it, but this is my vlog. This is just a hangout place. I'm not here to impress anybody. This is, to help me improve my mental, emotional, and overall health in my life in some way. It has been somewhat of a burden released for all of this that I'm carrying inside of me, the good and the bad and all of that. But, that's what I found with the spirituality thing. Everyone's trying to make money. It just seems like that's what everybody thinks is abundance. Not good people, good memories, being seen and accepted and loved for who you are, but also being around people who you feel that way for too. I understand that some men want women that have the same type of money-making mindset as them, because of course it is nice to enjoy things in life. I've always just known that my financial abundance will come in by me expressing my authentic self and following me path. Following my path. Truthfully, even if sometimes I don't know exactly where it's leading me. I'm glad. Awesome, Jay White. That's always wonderful to hear. One channel you shared recently gave me a big breakthrough. I'm grateful. I'm trying to put out information and content so that what has occurred to me, because all of this is not just my past, but even the conspiracy theories and the UFO and the alien shit on the internet has exhausted me. I mean, I'm not done to fall over, but it's made me very tired. I could have gotten a lot further, but again, everything is a learning lesson. And that's the thing about our time. So as society degrades and things get bad, you'll always have predators preying, selling people dreams and ideas of days to come that will be better. And of course, people will throw money at them because they want these dreams to come true. Thank you very much. In balance with you. I don't feel like a victim. I'm a survivor, and it's made me a champion. This is why, I get knocked down 10,000 times and keep getting back up. There's actually a quote that says, fall down 7 times, get back up 8. And that's what it means. It doesn't matter how many times. It could be fall down 999 times, get up 1,000. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So even if it fell down 900, And 99, I'm fucking tongue-tied. You know what I mean? 999. One more would be 1,000. You have to get up on that one more. I'm not explaining anymore. I'm confusing myself. But yeah, so it's not that I sit around in victim mentality or, I'm doing this. It's just because it comes up so often and I never make a video where I've tried to explain it in full, where people are like, well, what happened to you? How is it all this? And then that guy abused me for almost a decade. And it was a lot of emotional, psychological abuse. So, and again, it was so hurtful and painful and destructive to the psyche, especially at the time, because I loved him so much. It was very impactful. That's why you are more impacted by people whom you love rather than strangers. It hurts so much more, You know what, Crossfade Crypto? That's true. I think it's also an energy thing too. There are some people that are drawn to what they can get from a person. Crypto says there's a certain type of guy and girl, men and women both do this, that looks for a partner who earns money that they can leech from. That's what a gold digger is. But men do that too. It's disgusting, but it is out there. I agree with you. And you know what it's called? Especially if they're like really down on their luck and they're trying to get a step up in life. Like, if I did not make this up, and when I first heard it, I laughed. Are you ready? Hobo sexual. Hobo sexual. It's a person who tries to get with you for benefits in life. Hobosexual. Look it up. It's a real thing. One tried to get me, but I got away. That's right. I know. And excuse me. That's one thing too. Like lately, I don't know if it's like the weather change. I think it is, because my allergies have been shit and my lungs, frig. I think this is rotten ass air. 'Tis the season for dog shit to be outside. Is it like that for you too in the spring? Oh my God. Hobosexual imbalance with you. That's what it's called. And it's pretty funny. You have to admit, that's a pretty funny term. Good. I'm glad other people think it's funny, because it's a real thing. And, you got to watch out for that. You've got to watch out for them hobosexuals. They're going to get you. But yeah, and I gave that guy money. I gave him $60 because I felt sorry for him because he had no food and he just went through a hurricane. So, but anyway, I am really hoping, not desperate, but I've left this space open for this special person to come into my life. It was almost like I put my intentions and things that I craved and wanted in a partner. It didn't have to be everything, but it just, none of it, I always hoped that, I could be with a person who writes like me, because even though I don't have, my heart got broken, I am a writer that writes when I am in love, and that's my generative force. It's a shame because I haven't been able to get that back. I could have used the pain I was going through at the time to produce creation of some kind, but I didn't know all this stuff at the time. So, and now the well is kind of empty. But I'm in the process of filling that well back up. But there is this level of disappointment, and being online doesn't make it any easier. And I definitely didn't mean to make it seem that I feel that way about all men. But at that point, as with everything else, including my YouTube channel, I was ready to give up. And it's lucky because before, it's happened way worse. I've deleted the Telegram channel. I used to have on my first or second version of Paranormal Panorama, I had almost 1,000 subscribers. and I deleted it. Now I've got 8, and I'm grateful for every one of them. But that's because I kicked everybody out before and shut it down. If you read the articles, it has to do with like feeling that everything I'm doing has no value, that it's not going to matter. It overwhelms me in every sense. I get overwhelmed and it overwhelms me. I'm really glad you guys enjoyed Hobosexual. I've been wanting to tell you for ages, but I keep forgetting, I think. Drew worked for a school system, basically used me, found a new place. Listen to this. JB says, I dated one girl who worked for the school system. She's a freaking teacher. What kind of compassionate, loving, understanding person does this? Stay away from the children. And basically used me for the summer and then found a new place once school started again. And then she pieced, JB. Like, that was it. Like, bye, ghosted, hung up. Yeah, self-sabotage sucks. Seriously, it really does. Yes, ghosted. I fucking knew it. Oh my God. Vile. And that's a teacher. See, I may have this. I may curse and swear. I may smoke weed, but not when I was working. But I was fucking excellent at my job. It disappoints me every fucking day that I failed at that. I couldn't even grab the doorknob that morning. I couldn't do it. And that was the best job I ever had in my life. Yeah. So it's hard out there for a lot of people. All I can suggest is try to be open for that energy to come into your life. Work on yourself. I know they always say that, but I mean, this is the only thing I can do. Feel like it's got to be something I'm doing wrong. You know, I thought that maybe explaining it would make it better. I don't know. Hiding it hasn't helped. You know, especially when it comes to relationships of any kind, regardless if it's romantic or not. Because eventually it's going to come out and then they're going to be like, what the fuck was that? You know, if I have a freak out on the phone or, you know, whatever. So, but one thing I won't do is chase people anymore. So if you want to go, you can go, and I'm not going to chase you. If you want to dump me and the friendship after I've had a hard time with my mental health or whatever, then I let them go now. I don't beg them to come back because that's not somebody that I want or need in my life. You know, that's why I've never gotten better, because of that bullshit. No, see what I mean? Like, no, JB wasn't on the same page. He thought he was in a relationship, and she was just like, oh, he'll do. This is a nice apartment. Oh my fuck. I'll be right back. But that's what I'm talking about. You don't want that. You want to be valued for the person you are, not what you have, not how big your thing is, or what you can offer sexually if you've got these big old balloon titties or blowjob lips. Oh my God. Hey, Mary, you looking to pause? She pushed the fur down on her forehead part. She looks like a Klingon from Star Trek. Oh, good girl. You're not let me fix that. There you go, baby. That is too funny. You look like a Klingon. Right. Do you guys remember when I talked about how phallic eating a banana is and someone told me to eat it sideways? I think I'm going to. Because I want a banana, but I'm definitely not going to eat it like regularly like a banana. And you know exactly why. So, yeah, I know Marvin's fur was all pushed down on her forehead. She looked like a Klingon from Star Trek. It was funny. Like corn on the cob? What? I remember if I sent my ex over 1,000 since I left in October, trying to get her attention. Never worked. Oh, hun. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, that was awful of her. I'm sorry. You know, because you were probably thinking you were doing a nice thing. Yeah, it's the reciprocation, like I was talking about. And some people are just takers, you know? But what I was saying before I left is that our society has become so over sexualized. And I think that there is, especially with this male centered women thing, there is this secret competition with women, even between friends. And it's not everybody. I'm not saying it's everyone. But it's quite common now where, you know, especially in these new, I seen a video, again, because this is how I'm kind of learning about society a little bit out there in the world. Some people will put TikTok videos onto YouTube in like a video montage about a certain subject. And there's this new trend called we listen and we don't judge. And so a lot of people are confessing these really terrible things to their friends and partners, thinking that, you know, this is just something that's going to fly under the bridge. But it's deep-rooted societal issues that really stem from the inner self. See, a lot of people are seeking sexual pleasure to fill the need of something else, and it's usually love in just a different form. So the problem is a lot of people I just saw a spaghetti strainer with the water throwing out, so they can't maintain it. They may be able to have it, but not maintain it. It leaks out. And so they're always seeking of outer fulfillment. It you know, it was freaking me out that everyone was walking around kind of looking like a blow-up doll, or, and you know what that's for, to please men. I know that some women will claim self-empowerment and stuff like this, but I just don't buy it. You know, like I said, I know it can not be for me, but this superficial fakeness, like I was saying, it's just not real. And then you put the Instagram filters and everything else, and so it's a huge problem. People are getting catfished, you know. Yeah, I know. It's kind of in the light. Well, I told you, in the light, it goes more red. And it's still wet. I'll take it out. I put all my hair spray in and everything, and my leave-in conditioner and all of that, but it's still wet. So you can tell that it's wet. But yeah, in the light, it is quite light colored. Reddish colored, so yeah. And I mean, I don't know, before I was one of those people that couldn't leave the house without wearing makeup. I was very self-conscious. My self-esteem wasn't good. So now that I can be this way, I'm very proud of myself. You know, a lot of people might judge, but thank you very much. But for me, this is a great, see, I even, now that my hair is growing so long, these are my gray hairs coming in too. Oh my God. And I don't like that because it reminds me of all the fucking stress that I've had in my life. Let me see if I can cover it. Yeah, I'm not ready for that. And I even, this was years ago, I discovered, I looked in the mirror and I thought I had a white cat hair in my nose. Hello from Romania. Nice to see you. Welcome. And when I went to pull it out, it was attached. So it was like a full white nose hair. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very lucky and very blessed, but it's a lot of work. That's why I had to wash and condition it, because living in this apartment makes my hair and scalp very dry, but we're working with it. So, you know, and I will say, like, this is the thing that I was thinking about when I walked to the kitchen, because a lot of this society has been designed to drain men and women, but men specifically, of their power. It really is more geared towards the men. And I figure that is because they don't want you to retain your power. This is going to get a little graphic. Come closer. No pun intended. Because if you're always masturbating and ejaculating, reaching orgasm, this is when you are repelling your life force. Okay, this is how you create life. There's also an energy that is released at this time. If it's continuously released, this keeps men very docile and, forgive me, stupid-like. Neanderthal. I just saw a caveman in my head. So thank you very much. I try not to wear makeup, but it's not like I won't wear it. Like if I have somewhere nice to go or whatever, then I do enjoy wearing makeup and, you know, putting the pretty eye makeup on and, you know, the bronzer and stuff, but not tons. Not so much that when you put your face against someone's, you know, clothing, it just like, you know, on them. Like, you know how that test where you can go like this and then wipe something? You can do that to my face and there's nothing on the black clothing. But even though I do have makeup on, it doesn't do that. I use either a tinted moisturizer or just a BB cream. So there's not like a shit ton of foundation and all that. But thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's why I try to tell myself about it too, that maybe one day I'll be able to accept it and I'll have like this cool rogue thing going on. Yeah, you know, you can always hope for that. But yeah, I don't even have anything new. I haven't bought anything, like no new stuffies or anything like that, because I've really had to I want to finish that topic before I start eating that, you dirty bastards. Yeah, and so that's one of the reasons they want the men, because the men are the ones that go to war. The men, and I'm not trying to put down my gender or anything like that, but it's been a patriarchy for a long time. So if we have these degenerate, elite, narcissistic, psychopathic men, mostly in power, they're going to try to destroy other men that are a threat to them. Actual good men. Most politicians and stuff like this is why psychopaths make good leaders. You can read about this. But no, it is true, and it's not a joke. And this has been going on in society for a long time too. So this is why they want you at home on the internet with the hub. And sticking with that all day. This is where I didn't even know what gooning was, but this is where it comes from. And it's actually now a thing, you know, where it's constant sexual arousal, everything, you know, but again, that is weakening you in ways that you couldn't imagine, and you never will, because you won't even be able to. It can be like this for women too. But I found that it's more directed at the men. And a lot of misinformation and different things like that. It's a big mess. So I know I'm not the only one struggling. It's just, you know, well, hopefully, I might find something so that I will be able to know for sure what love is. I want to know what love is. I know you guys all thought this. I want you to show me. Yeah, you know, before I die. So I'm going to eat my banana now. Don't be a fucking pervert, or you're going to be stupid. Like a stupid caveman. I'm seriously eating it sideways. Eat it like corn. Oh, I get it now. Yeah. Like corn on the cob. I get it now. I didn't get it at first. I get it now. You know, and I'd love to be able to sing with my man, my boyfriend, the partner, my divine partner, sing with him, you know, brainstorm with him about ideas about stories we could write together, or me just let me write stories about him and I, you know. There's so many wonderful things that I have to offer to a relationship. You know, I can cook, I can clean, I can do all of these things. And also I can love. Balls. Hello, Inner Mystic. Welcome. I used to sing. Before I got my heart broken, there were so many things, and I don't know, I just find no reason to sing now. I just can't find it in me, that oomph, you know? Plus, the whole industry, like, has turned me off. Like sometimes I can't even listen to music anymore, especially the music that I used to listen to for most of my life. You know, it's just so fucking filthy. Everything about it is about sex. And I'm like, oh my God. I can't play any instruments. No. And I think that's because I tried to teach myself how to play the guitar, but I suck at math. And I also can't figure out music. And math and music are similar. So I figure that's why. But I did give it a go. I just not that great. I suck at math, like horribly bad. Beautiful spring rain, though. It's nice. It's Intermistic says it's raining in Long Island, New York, but it's still a beautiful day. Yeah, it's 9 degrees Celsius today. It was beautiful and sunny out. I went for quite a long adventure. That's where I got that Tim Hortons, but I refilled it up with a new tea. I already drank my old tea and I'm just using it again. Well, I did try. Yeah, I did. I've always been interested in music. I've always loved music. I even used to write songs and stuff. But then I didn't have anything to record the melodies on, especially when I was growing up. So, you know, I wrote my first novel in 9th grade. And then I realized that all the characters were reflections of myself. And I was like, fuck, I'm not ready for people to read this. And I'm pretty sure that I have some of it maybe in my older email that's still there from Hotmail. I could look in there. Maybe. But I'm pretty sure it's just gone. The hand pan. I don't know what a hand pan is. A lot of men are really good at math. And that's what I thought to myself. Like, oh, well, who cares if I suck at math? If I ever have kids, hopefully, like a lot of men, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of men are really good at math. And a lot of girls are really good at English and shit. Poetry and all of that. It's left and right brained, but I just can't remember which one is which. Music does give life to the soul. You know, when I lived out in Hollywood, it became an even bigger part of my life than I ever thought it would be. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was with someone who was not world renowned famous at the time. He was Hollywood famous. And there's a difference. But that's how I met Gene Simmons, and I didn't know who he was. To be fair, I had no idea who Gene Simmons was. But I lived a very fulfilling life. It's not like I haven't been doing things with my life. I have. I've done a lot with my life, and you know, I guess I just kind of tired myself out a little bit. I did. Well, I lived in San Bernardino County. I didn't live in LA County. I lived outside of Los Angeles County, but we drove into Hollywood frequently. I lived a lifestyle where I slept a lot of the day away, and we were out all night or traveling or whatever. He was in a band. He was the lead guitarist. I spent a lot of time at the studio and all of that, recording studios and stuff like that. You know, but that's how I know about that life. And even though it seems fun, it can be a little bit, when it comes down to it, it's a snake pit. And this is what I found. Like, women would go and get bad plastic surgery, and there'll be someone who's popular or well-known or a casting director or some shit. And what you'll observe there is people trying to get close to this person. And they'll say, oh, where did you get your lips done? And she'll say, oh, let me write down my doctor's name. It'll look great. She knows she looks fucked up, but she'll want you to go so that you look fucked up too. And that's a lot of it with that. And so we'll have this. Yeah, hello. Energy sphere. I'm not going to, 7-layer toroidal. Oh, toroidal energy sphere. Hello and welcome. Yeah, that is who I call Mask Girl, but that is from the live action version. The picture of the girl with the mask and the silver armor and the red curlyish hair, kind of like my color, but she's got more curl, which I would love to have. I've got some under here, if you can see it, but it's just so long that it like drags it down. But whatever. That girl that I used, who I always call her Mask Girl. But yeah, her name's Eagle Marin, and it comes from Saint Seiya. There is a live action version that I watched. It was a while ago that I seen it, but it's on Netflix now. I thought about rewatching it, and I still might. Maybe with dinner tonight, I don't know. But yeah, it's from Knights of the Zodiac. That's what the picture from what I used. I call her Mask Girl, but yeah, that's her name. Eagle Marin. Pretty sure. She's this cool, ancient, wise, immortal girl in the mountains who's a teacher of champions. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that it, like, I think they expected it to be more. Sean Bean's in it, by the way. The guy, who was in Lord of the Rings. It's pretty cool. It has a decent concept. I like the armor and stuff. I remember the Saint Seiya manga as well, but I've never watched the anime. So yes, I lived out in Hollywood. And did I talk about, women making other women look like shit and the plastic surgery thing? That's what you have. Everyone's trying to get something out of you. They'll only be your friend if it benefits them in some way, or they can have something to gain out of it. They'll be your friend as long as they can sleep on your couch. But then when there's other circumstances, they'll move on to the bigger, better deal. I mean, this wasn't with the people that I was around specifically, but it does happen a lot. It's mostly because all of those people want to be number one. So I'm grateful for the experience, but it's not something that I would want again. It's not something that I want to deal with again. I don't want to rub shoulders with those people ever again. I didn't have a bad experience meeting Gene Simmons, but it's not him. It's just the whole environment. It's very fake and it's unfulfilling, and it will drain the life out of you. Hollywood is not paved with gold and money falling out of the sky. Hollywood is created with broken dreams, tears, and the heartbreaks of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who went there and ended up becoming a waiter. There are things that are required, and if you don't want to do them, other people will. So it's, it's a very, very treacherous place. And that's why you see that a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of these Hollywood couples have terrible relationships, even though they make it seem like they're good. Again, these people are actors, So it is. There's a lot of stories that I have enjoyed, and I might get into that more. But yeah, Saint Seiya was definitely cool. I mean, you can gain a lot of wisdom from just experiencing other people's experiences, even if it's a fictional character. Well, I've said this before. I believe that somewhere out there, all of these universes exist, these worlds. We may never see them or find them. They could be so far away, but I've always felt that that's what it means to create, as in thoughts become things. And so the more people read about it and basically fall in love with it, the more energy it's given and all that. Oh, I was asked if I play an instrument. I don't. I tried to teach myself the guitar, but it's because I'm terrible at math. So I'm not able to do the music thing, even to read the music sheets. And I was saying that, I find that mathematics and music is very similar. And so that's just not my forte. Dinosaur. Rawr. Hi, Alan. Welcome. I want to go back to Vegas. Well, I mean, the weather is certainly really nice out there. I did enjoy the dry heat. I loved the weather. That's for sure. It's a lot different now from when I lived there. And that's very unfortunate because I don't know if I'd want to go back because I want to remember it the way it was, It becomes an egregore. Is that what you mean? Did you forget an E? What becomes an egregore? An independent thought consciousness idea. Well, sort of. But if the creator of our world and the way things are, the creator who wrote all of our stories, mine and yours, if it was thought becoming things, then the creator sat down and thought about us and maybe even wrote us into a book and thus breathing life into our creation. I'm seeing this. So it's pretty much the same thing. Is it giving it a breath of life? This could be what hides within dark matter, for instance. We could have other spaces or dimensions of reality, and we just don't have the light spectrum ability, I suppose, to see it. Yeah. Can you even imagine to live in Europe? Oh boy. No. I always wanted to visit, but like I was saying, there's a lot of 15-minute cities there now, especially they're dealing with that, I think, in the UK specifically. But this is all part of the plan, stress, displacement and all of that. It's part of their great work to have people reach this pinnacle point of their ascension. If you push them hard enough with pressure and heat, coal turns into diamonds. So they're just trying to progress people through the stages of initiation faster. It's called forced evolution. Who keeps deleting? Why do you keep deleting your messages, Dom? You don't want me to read them out loud? If you don't want me to read what you write out loud, say so. Even if you don't have no room, if you put NOL, not out loud, capitalize it so you know, then I won't read what you say out loud. Well, thanks. I'm really glad you enjoy it too, 7-Layer. Yeah, I was saying that too about like the Marvel universes through Spider-Man. So Earth was number like 55,582, and it was like Lego World. If you watch the Spider-Man through the multiverse, there's into the multiverse and through. I watched through the multiverse, and you can see this. And like I was saying with my video, when I said God is a writer, that it expresses this in Supernatural, the show too, as well, where he goes, well, you know, because Sam asks him, how many worlds are out there? And the Chuck, the guy who plays God in the show, replies, he goes, oh, I don't know, countless. And he goes, one of them, the color yellow doesn't exist. One of them, it runs totally backwards. One of them is run totally by squirrels. So, like, there's even a cat Spider-Man in this version. So, it's pretty cool. And the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange was very good as well. But especially because since I've met the Asura and realized, hey, that's another version of me from somewhere else, this is how I'm seeing the multiverse. So there might be even a version of us in each and every world, you know? We may not be a big deal in all of them, but in some of them we are. And I think that's what's difficult for people that end up here, is because either whether it be a past life or what you're doing simultaneously on many dimensions, multidimensionally, you know, throughout this multiverse. I forgot where I was going with that, but that's how I feel it is now. There might be different versions of me everywhere. Oh, people have a difficult time accepting that, who they are here, that they're not a superhero here, type of person here, like they are in the spiritual realms, which was something that I struggle with myself. Ooh. I held back from coughing for a while. Yeah, through the Spider-Verse. That's what I'm talking about. I think that's what it is called. Through the Spider-Verse, or there's one into the Spider-Verse and through. But the one that I'm talking about, I'm sure is the second one, not the first one. The second one. Yeah. And with the young lady who's his friend in the white suit, and Miles Johnson is a young African-American fella. Or he's half. His father is African-American, and his mom is Dominican. She speaks Spanish, so he's of mixed race. But I would love to see that. Now they've had different versions of Peter Parker. That would be cool to see that. You know, is somebody different? Different is good. You know? Yeah. So I would like to see that, you know, if they do a new Spider-Man, to have a new type of character instead of kind of like that Peter Parker type. because you even see different versions of Miles where he doesn't get bit by the spider. So how his life would have been, and this world's kind of like it's kind of like his doppelganger in a way. It's a pretty good version of what a doppelganger would be. Yeah. Miles Morales. Yeah. Oh, it's Puerto Rican. Sorry. They mentioned Dominican, but maybe she's talking about somebody else or something else or whatever. I wasn't quite clear. I saw it on the was reading the captions too, so it's just a mistake. It's no big deal. I don't mean to offend anybody, for God's sake. So it usually takes my hair a while to dry naturally, but I find that that's the only way I can maintain its moisture. Well, that is true, about the mind being in control. I think that's why my lungs have taken a hit, not only because of my lifestyle, but because of the loss and grief. I actually looked up, I found in Chinese medicine that waking up at 3 a.m. is a sign of when the energies enter your lungs. So, between lungs and liver. So, I've been trying to make more of an effort, Again, like I've asked several of my friends over the years that have called me sister and say I love you to come and spend time with me, so that I might be able to get off the marijuana and change my lifestyle with a little bit of support and help, because I've never been able to do it successfully alone. But in the past, I have had boyfriends or people that I've dated for a little while that have helped me. And then once they left my life and, broke up with me or whatever, I went back to the same habit. Again, I use that to numb out the loneliness and the pain and the lack of company that I have in my life, because it's been a very long time that I've been alone. I've done well, and it's always been these kind of, for myself, my situation could be worse, and I do believe that everything happens for a reason, but it's just kind of, at this point in my journey, even if it was just one person, that's why I was praying to find my divine partner. If they don't want to be officially married because for whatever reason, they don't believe in it or whatever, because it is just paperwork. Still have a hand joining ceremony, a unification ceremony. Even if it's just for energetic and symbolic purposes, because I would like to declare in front of the divine creator, this is who I would like to travel into the eternity with, my afterlife. That's kind of how I feel what happily ever after means, in a way. To live this life, but also go into the next, Some souls don't want that. And it's not like you have to be together all the time, but almost like these two parts that, like this, fuck it, I don't know. What do you think about when they say that on a higher dimension, someone is reading our story? It could be so. There could be a giant spiritual library, which there is indication that there are, these type of libraries, not just like the Akashic Records or whatever, but let's just say, because that's a common one, our books could all be in a giant library, and these other dimensional beings could have access to them. Very true. You could be a story in somebody else's universe, which is what I said one time. Is I imagined this, actually. I was just daydreaming, and I imagined what would happen if I were to meet Sailor Moon in her world. How would I explain where I came from and how I know she exists? And I just tell her, in my world, you're a comic book. You're a TV show. People think you're not real. You're a fictional character. What? Imagine telling somebody that her creator is called Nyaku Takeuchi. That's its actual name. Not God. It actually has a name. And she's called Naoko Takeuchi, the writer of Sailor Moon. That's pretty thought-provoking, isn't it? So, technically meaning that our creator most likely has a name too. That's most likely that none of us could ever know, because we can't see what the creation of Earth by that creator with the title on it, wherever it's sitting in the hall of shit that's been created somewhere. See what I'm saying? Oh, that's that Earth place that we've heard about by so-and-so. Let's go over and take a gander. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like in a big library or something. Hi, Scott. How are you? Welcome. Well, I like being alone to a degree. I think that solitude and alone time is good, but when it becomes extended, I've been floating around since I was like 17, in and out of people's lives, and no one stayed. The longest soul I ever had in my life that stayed consistently was my wonderful, beautiful Mr. Sweet Cheeks. And he passed away. It hasn't been even a year yet, but it feels like he's been gone forever, like years. But he hasn't even been gone a year yet. No, it wouldn't be. See, it's not launched. See how I just explained about the thing with Sailor Moon? That wouldn't be there in her world. They would never be able to access that. So it would only be if someone from outside of the world brought it to her. Like if I went there and was like, oh yeah, you're a book, and this is who wrote about you. This is who made you. This is essentially God to her. Nyaku Takeuchi. Yeah, but no one would know this here. The elites don't know this. They're not holding any secrets. It's not somewhere in the Vatican, okay? It wouldn't be available in this dimension. How the dimensions work is the fourth dimension can see the third. Like we can see 3, 2, and 1 looking down. But you can't see up. So in 3, we can't see the fourth. But in 5, you can look down and see 4. But 4 cannot see 5 or 6 and what's beyond that. Now, in 5, it can look below all of that, but it cannot see what's above it. So you can look down, but you cannot look up. So in the 7th dimension, it can see the 6th, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense. going deeper within does help transcend time and space. And time and space, I believe, because there's a physical space, most likely, most known as like the geocentric model. It's both. So we have a physical, but we also have a spiritual, etheric level of existence. What's the difference between dimension and density? Okay, what I experienced in my room that night when I saw the Asura, I learned about how the plasma aether, not an expert about this, so I'm going to do my best. It enters, so when I talked about the 2 layers, this is what we're talking about. Thickness is density. Dimension is where you're at. What I just explained with dimension. So even though the air around me felt thicker, as in more dense, as in, I think it's the Dead Sea. That's the really, really salty one. And this is because there's more salt molecules in with the water. And so it gives it more of, if there's only 3 little molecule balls, I think it makes it more, which makes things thicker. The water molecule is more fat. Again, I'm not a scientist, but we do know how the Dead Sea works. It's really, really dense with salt, so you're more buoyant. You can't really sink down. It brings you back up and you can stay onto the surface easier because of the thickness in the water. There's more in the space. And so even though if I did this, I felt like I could move the space with my hand, even though you couldn't see anything. It's an energetic thickness. Where's Salem? Oh, that was you, Marv. Oh, come here. You have a bad dream? You okay? I love you. I'll go back to sleep? Okay. Just got up, did some meowing, and then went back to sleep. Oh, see about the density. So as the outside of me was thicker, I felt lighter. I don't know how to explain that. Again, the hair on my whole body, the arms and legs, like I could feel it. Even the top of my head, like people said, oh, it's like you saw a ghost. But these are the dimensions crossing over, which may increase density. Again, I don't know. I'm only going on what I've experienced, and someone who came to mind, which does deal with density and dimension, and she's teaching through her creation, is Elena Denon. I do have, I don't know how I feel about this, but I do have all of her books for free on my Telegram channel that you can just go grab. This would be in, I think, the second and third one she wrote, like maybe the one about the I can't remember. There's one called The Cedars, I think. There's another one. But you might be able to learn more about it through her, but that's as far as I can go. I've only been, as far as I'm aware and can recollect, when I was in this physical body, to be able to tell you about it in that one space. Now, I've traveled to different places, but not in this physical body, only in the spirit body rather. So, or I was seeing through the eyes of the Asura, which I didn't realize was me at the time. And that has to do with the bioluminescent underworld, which actually isn't in the underworld where I thought it was caves and tunnels. That's one of the lower dimensions, and there is bioluminescence. Now, again, it may be both. There may be a spiritual dimensional place, and because I've seen real bioluminescence in some of these deep underground, especially the algae. The algae specifically is what will glow. Anyway, okay. You know what the Asuras are? I have made a few videos about them. 7-layer. The first one was I saw a being of unknown origin in my room, which you'll hear me talk about what I just explained about the density and dimension change in my bedroom. I first saw the being called Asura. It told me it was called an Asura, but I did not know. I just realized over maybe the past, since I did the Guardian of the Threshold video, that's when I knew for sure that it was me. So I haven't really known that very long, but there are videos about it. I am a reincarnated, most likely powerful. I don't like to talk myself up like this because, again, there's no way to prove these things, but I said about earlier about how there's a lot of people that have a difficult time dealing with, the person that they are here compared to the many individuals that they could possibly be out in the multiverse, and which ones they're aware of, which versions of themselves. Because I know that even I've been called to sleep, but then I go into the spiritual realm for whatever reason, to be called there for some purpose. Sometimes I feel like over my lifetime I've been used as a weapon in this spiritual war, but physically in battle. So if you enjoy about the Asura, you can hear about them. I definitely thought when I first saw it that it was an alien, and they kind of look like that. But again, I go into that in those two videos. The most recent one is where I explain, how kind of the aftermath of all the thinking and accumulating of knowledge, wisdom, the observation of other people's experiences, comparing it to your own. Because, I was in denial for the longest time because I wanted it to be an alien, a being from somewhere else. And it kind of is, but it's not, in a sense. Oh, take care and balance with you. I'll be back live again, so you can come back and join us if you like. But I hope you have a good night and a good sleep, and I wish you well, and thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Kind of last minute, but I'm glad that everyone showed up that has, and I'm very grateful. Well, that's the thing about initiation. There's just different stages of our consciousness development. Sometimes I like to call it now consciousness ascension, because you are ascending up a staircase or a ladder, like I refer to with Jacob's ladder, or the stairway to heaven, which would be the higher dimensions. Oh man, do I ever love pizza. Yeah, I definitely can't live like that anymore. It's okay though, because I would rather have to go without than accept the energy that was coming in with some of the donations, okay? It was just too overwhelming. And again, it was one of the things that led up. It was almost like my time and energy was almost being demanded, and it's an overall regrettable situation. I am sorry that occurred, over this last week. Let's just say it always is last minute with Lacey. You're right, Scott. Yeah, that's why I chose the title. It's not a put down or anything. It's just something that is. Yeah, there's just certain people that are meant to live their lives this way, and in their next cycle, they will have different experiences, even paranormal ones, which will, open their eyes to more. Like I said, I'm not an expert, I don't know everything, but it seems to me, throughout my observation and through my own personal experience, that it's almost like countless layers of perception are peeled away. The way that you see things on the outside will change more and more with every lifetime. It's not just once that this veil is pulled back, but like countless and limitless layers of an onion that never stop. And you just see things different over and over again with every layer that's taken away. It's kind of like that. And so with reincarnation, we just keep processing this kind of stuff, and our consciousness grows and expands just like the universe grows and expands. So yeah. Hopefully I can get things back on track completely. I do have to make some food. I'm getting hungry. And I don't have the luxury of ordering anything. So I'm going to have to cook, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But yeah, my tummy's letting me know I don't even have any granola bars or whatever. I'll get some. I just forgot to. Oh, I'm wearing star pants. They're purple. I will. Yeah. Or curtains that just open very slowly until you have a bigger and bigger picture of what's going on. But it's going to look different at every stage for everybody. You'll recognize similar stages, and you'll be maybe on a certain page with certain individuals, but mostly it's a very solo journey. It can be isolating and lonely, but worth it for the most part. So, no, I think there's more of an element of, that you need to make it worth it. And I think that may be the point of life, that we're just meant to express ourselves as the creation that we are, in a healthy way, of course. And just, enjoy. As long as you're not hurting anybody or whatever. You get what I mean? Like, you're just supposed to be you. It doesn't matter what exactly you do, as long as you enjoy it. Like, instead of me just sitting around waiting for this energetic shift. I mean, even though it did come anyway, it did. There's like so many videos now exposing the, you know, the dysfunction of the spiritual community and the grifters and the scammers and all this stuff. And I've been posting about that. So that's good. Like I said, it's almost like the truth always comes to light, even if it's buried in there. If you try to hide it or pretend to be something you're not, it will always be revealed, you know? So, like, just like what happened with Corey Good, it's going to occur with others. And again, it's like you will have your blindfold removed from how people see. You know, because like I was saying, it's just difficult to have these spiritual experiences. Like I was saying, even knowing that you're doing these other things in the spiritual realms, and you come back here and it's the drag of this place and the fact that it is a material plane and we need money here to survive. But I haven't seen any of those people, like these elite ruling class individuals. I've never seen, I'm trying to think of any of them that I've actually seen happy and in a good relationship or anything like that. And I just don't. So I don't know why people think that by following their formulas with this money chasing, money making thing, like even if you get YouTube famous, got 1 million subscribers, the people who get rich the most are the elites that own the YouTube. So it's just creating this, feeding that never ending eating greedy pig that just keeps feeding and feeding. This is what I'm seeing, like like almost that Spirit Away, when Saharu's parents turn into pigs and they won't stop eating. Unfathomable. Fuck. You know what I mean? Hunger and greed. And it's always about that. Oh yeah, I made $12 million off of that. And everyone's like, oh, with their blowjob lips. Oh my God. So, I mean, it's not like I think it negatively. I just feel like it's gotten out of control. And that's because the elites are squeezing. And, you know, everybody has to scramble. And so they think, oh, well, I'll just make money on YouTube and I'll get this and that. But really, it's supplying this beast system, like this ever hungry, consuming monster that just won't stop. And none of them are happy. And none of those people are unconditionally loving or happy people. They're usually fucked up on drugs, all kinds of crazy, you know, wild ass lifestyle, wild ass partners in their lives. And I mean, like I said, it's not everybody, but there's a lot of them. A lot. And even if you think they're happy, they're not. Corey Good cheated on his wife. So, and I just learned that out recently. I mean, I didn't know that in the past about him. So, I mean, I thought, well, he's got a wife and kids, and seem happy. Nah. No, they're not. They're making it work. So, Shallow indeed. Yeah, it's very puddle. I mean, like I was saying, people treat others like they're disposable. So it's kind of irritating to me that no one's realized my potential with just a little bit of TLC support and, help to get through these certain things that I felt that have held me back. There's nothing more important than a friend. And even when I had people in my life, they didn't want to do anything with me. You don't want to go for a walk. You don't want to go to the park. No one ever wanted to go canoeing with me. No one ever wanted to do anything. Mini golf, go-karting, nothing. Literally nothing. My boyfriend wouldn't do anything with me. That was my last serious boyfriend for all those years that I wasted. Wouldn't take me to the beach. Wouldn't go swimming with me. Even when he got a boat, he would rather go with his stupid ass friend and not take me fishing on the boat when I loved going fishing on the boat. So yeah, I don't know. It's irritating, like I said. I don't expect anybody to, provide for me. I don't. This is why, I wouldn't ask to be taken to a restaurant that I couldn't afford myself because I'm too afraid if the guy's going to leave me there, then you best believe I'll be paying for my own food. I'll be like, oh, he ghosted me. I'll pay for my meal, but I don't know what you're going to do about his. I ain't paying for it. I can't afford it, but I will pay for my own food. At least I can do that. It's not that I don't like looking nice and I don't like nice things, but nice doesn't equivalent $5,000 for a pair of shoes or a fucking purse. That's not what I mean by nice. Nice is something that I really like, even if it costs. This was only $28, my ring, and I've worn it for my entire life, and it's one of my favorite things. It's $28, but it's precious to me, priceless. See what I'm saying? Memories, laughter, loved ones, and the things that can be felt and not materialistically seen or held on to is the only thing you can take with you in your consciousness. You can't bring your money with you or your titles or anything that you gained in this life with you. You can, in fact, leave it behind. But what good is it to you then? I mean, a lot of people that later on became important and influential at the time when they were creating their work, it had no meaning to the individuals around them. So they were never appreciated for it to a degree. Or in some cases, for certain individuals, I'm sure they were completely overlooked and ignored. Nikola Tesla, his situation wasn't the only one. That's the one that comes to mind. But ever seen Iron Sky 2? I think I've seen Iron Sky. Oh no, I'm thinking of the one with the dinosaurs on the moon. Maybe I haven't. I'm getting them confused. Sure, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, I mean, at first you have to identify the problem in order to fix it, Jay White. So even if there are a lot of damaged units, you can repair them. But first you need to identify them. And I think that's a big part of self-awareness, and that's okay. I realize that I've made some miscalculations, most likely. And so, I've been trying to go over different things and realize the twists and things some people have put on certain concepts, such as twin flames. and whatnot. So, let's see here. You're really hating on the North American, Scott. It's really not just North America. You'll find this in many countries. Doesn't matter where you go. The Hollywood scene is pretty much the same everywhere. There's always somebody's asked to kiss and this pyramid type of thing where this person's important and these people are less important. It's just the way that things are set up, and it's the only way that it seemed to ever work, because there has to be this feeder or predator prey type of scenario. This is why I just don't believe in prospering at the expense of others, because it usually does require shady business deals and doing things of a egoic, selfish, lower dimensional nature. It's really the only way you can get places in this world, because there are, especially within the large corporate business, big money communities, because there's so many of them like that. That if you're not like that, well, you'll never compete against them. But do you really want to, well, I can't beat them, so I'll join them scenario? I kind of feel as though there's been so many people that have kept quiet that it really shows us the exact meaning of when good people do nothing, evil takes over. And I think that's what's happened today. Even some of those videos that I posted, they kind of look like male bashing videos, but if you watch them, they're not. It was actually a message from a man to men warning them about these types of influencer videos, which they're really not giving men the best advice at all, and it's not going in their favor. And that's kind of what the gist of the message was. Again, we have these types of channels created, and a lot of it, believe it or not, because the CIA is who's involved with the psychological, what's that called? Misinformation. What did that Lou idiot guy say? Something. Oh, fuck, I forget. It was like counter intelligence or something. Anyway, there's a bunch of these people that are in there, and they're obviously influencing society one way or the other. They're pinning men and women against each other because they don't want us breeding anymore. So if we can't even get together to have a conversation, then we definitely won't be breeding. Better thoughts to come forward. Hey, Merv. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that I've noticed. It doesn't happen the same with everybody, but sometimes it does happen in a similar way. So like the short video that I posted yesterday with David Icke, in that video, he's 38 and I'm 39. And realizing the true meaning of the Christ within at this time. See? Oh, I'm really glad, GH. I'm glad. Thank you for saying so. And if they've benefited you truly and helped you in your life, that makes it worth it to me, you know? Yeah. I am thinking about, you know, it's a shame that I have not pushed harder or taken things down and deleted it, and, you know, but it's not all in vain at all, you know. Would you travel? The thing about it is, yes, absolutely, but I can't leave my cats alone. I don't know if people remember this, but Salem has lumpy bumpies all down his back. It's most likely cancer, okay? I haven't been able to take him in, so I'm not sure, but I just can't leave them, you know? Um, in fact, Marvin doesn't even realize that there's her plate of food over there. I don't know if she's gonna eat that. But yeah, that's the only thing, you know? And I love them, and I don't even have anybody to, like, sit with them or even check in on them. I mean, honestly, I've thought about this if Claudio asked me. I know, big dreams. Um, I would have talked to my landlord upstairs. And I mean, that's a big if. I don't even know, you know? Don't know if he would come down and check on them and feed them and clean the litter. You know what I mean? I don't even have one friend or family member. I really, really wish I did. And that's one reason, you know. I mean, it's a big risk going somewhere to meet somebody. I would have to talk to them one-on-one a little bit online first to feel comfortable, and then, oh my goodness, that's a big risk. But I'm not open to it. It would probably be more convenient in a lot of ways if they came to me. After you get to know somebody, if you really would like to meet a person, it would probably be best for at least the time being that, you know, that I would be visited here. I have traveled. It was only 4 hours away, mind you, but I have traveled to meet a fella in the past. It did not work out, and it was a huge mistake. So, and I was talking to him for months. Yeah, he even told his family about me and everything. And when we got together, it was just like, ooh, wasn't right. So, what's the one place you would love to visit if you could? Southern Argentina. I don't like, I mean, Buenos Aires is nice. I don't really like big cities anyway. I'd like to see it, but that isn't the main reason why I would go. You know, I would, but I really want to see, like, the beautiful mountains, and there's so much hiking. I watched a video where they do, what's that thing in the sky? A drone. And there's so much wildlife, and the land is gorgeous. You can see the mountains, and, you know, at the Southern Ocean, it looks really pretty there. So I think that's one place I definitely like to go and just stay, like, in a little quiet, secluded area, drinking tea by the fireplace and just enjoying, you know, outside in nature and stuff. And no, I wouldn't want to go to Europe, not at this time. There's nowhere in Europe, like, that I can even think of that I would want to visit. And that's not to be offensive, you know. I mean, they all seem to have their nice attributes. If I could, I would travel the whole world. Mm. Japan, yeah, yeah, but I would want someone with me, especially when I was out and about, that spoke Japanese and stuff. I think I would feel too uncomfortable and intimidated going to a country, not just Japan, but it would just be pretty overwhelming for me, especially like Tokyo or one of the larger cities. But I would. It's a beautiful country. They have a beautiful traditional, their culture and tradition is admirable. For not all of it, no one's perfect, okay? No one's perfect, but for the most, I like that. And they're very clean. Their streets are very clean. They're not yelling and screaming. I mean, there's loud hooting and hollering like on bar nights and stuff, but for the most part, it's a nice, peaceful place. Yeah. For peace and serenity, yeah, southern Argentina, it's gorgeous. Look it up. Look at videos online. It's just beautiful. It's magical looking. It's magical looking like New Zealand is, where they did the scenes from Lord of the Rings. It's like that. Just majestic. Beautiful. I'm pretty sure Argentina is the largest country in South America. It's really nice. Or maybe the second largest, but it's pretty big. Well, yeah, in Tokyo, and especially with the energies and the crampness and the swishing on the thing, I don't know if I do very well there. And it's the honking in India. I'd be so irritated, like, shut the hell up, don't you honk at me. Oh, I'd be irritated everywhere because like car honking is one of the things that gets on my nerves the most, besides the fucking lawnmower. Oh, the lawnmower gets on my damn nerves. Where's you going, Marv? We're awake now, eh? Well, we'll let you outside soon, okay? After I finish up here, you go outside, because I can't watch it when you're out there, and I worry that you're going to run away and I won't see you. Alright? Jump away off the fence, not really. Ugh. Okay. Well, let's see here. Well, I mean, like, both North and South Korea. I mean, if it wasn't for the political nonsense of North Korea, they're both nice countries. South Korea is very advanced, and it's like Tokyo, it's very packed and there's a lot of people there, but it's still a beautiful country, and they have a lot of really nice things to see. Even I've wanted to visit Russia, and they have some incredible architecture that I would love to see, especially in Moscow. I don't know a lot about Russia, but that's one thing I've always wanted to see, is the beautiful architecture that they have there. I didn't know anything about Argentina until I knew about Claudio. I didn't know anything. And I learned about it because I was curious about him. So, and I don't regret it. It's a very nice place. And they have really nice food and, yeah, great weather, friendly people. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there is some stuff online that you read, that I guess, this is the fact that at one time Argentina used to be very posh and very rich. And so in a way, that's kind of stayed with them. And yeah, but I don't know that for sure, but that's just what it says, online. It's sometimes referred to as the France of South America, if you can understand that. Sorry, excuse me, I burped and then I forgot to excuse myself. But yeah, here I'm talking about other people being rude and then I just burp. But, sorry. Nobody's perfect, like I was saying. Did I ever tell you the last date that I went on? That's what I was laughing at as I was talking to Marvin, because the last actual date I went on was a couple of years ago now, and I agreed to going out with this guy who I met while shopping at Walmart. The U.S. did screw Argentina. Yeah. It used to be a very powerful, beautiful, economically self-sufficient place, and they were doing well, very well. And in fact, that was one of the places to go, it was one of the richest economies. And then the greed of the U.S. screwed them over. No surprise there, but yeah, anybody that seems to be getting too powerful, and, especially if we're connected even by a small piece of land, they won't be having that. So they went in there probably and pillaged and savaged it up like they usually do. Decimate the land, steal your fucking artifacts, and, establish their good old democracy. Capitalism. Well, yeah, and that's what it is. That's what they do, because they want to destroy a country's prominent and prosperous infrastructure so that it collapses. That's how they stay number one. And the same with Africa. Exactly the same. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Concept and idea. Yeah, anything that has any worth, value. So, but yeah, I went on this date a couple years ago. And, like I was saying, I had done so much work on myself. I put on just a little bit of makeup, I wore a pretty dress. It was summer. I wore some sandals. I looked nice. I smelled good. And from the moment I seen him, he didn't look impressed. And he even told me later on that he expected me to dress better, even though we were just going for a walk and getting to know each other. He said things like, if I dress in designer clothing and wear more makeup, people will want to talk to me more. Anyway, it didn't go anywhere, but it was pretty bad. Hi, Marv. Come here. Come here. Come see us. Come on. Come here. Oh, no, she laid down on the floor. Oh, that's you. Yes, I know I gotta make some supper. I'm hungry. But yeah. So, yeah. Well, I mean, here I thought, that he liked me for the natural beauty that I am, and it just was kind of a slap in the face. Like, ouch. It's not very nice. So, yeah. We didn't have anything really in common. So, but, I thought, well, I'll give it a chance, So, well, I mean, if you haven't gone outside for a walk today, GH, if you haven't taken care of yourself, exercised, gone out and got some fresh air off the internet, I mean, it's not nice to be harsh, but if you are spending too much time online, you should get outside. I make it a point now to get outside every day. You never know when there will be no more days, or the place around you will change forever. Like the places like in Hollywood where the fires happened. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to go back, because of the stuff that's changed. I want to remember it as it was. So take advantage and be grateful, Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like, I mean, I didn't have that braid or whatever, but yeah, I look just as pretty as I did in my rose dress photo shoot. I was wearing one of my that's a nice summery dress. I don't know. But I mean, it's not like I've written off. It's not like I think all men are the same and I've written them all off. It's just when I get in that feeling of being overwhelmed, it's almost like the disappointment that comes from it, no matter how long you hold space open for this energy, like I was saying, to enter your life and not have any expectations, but put it out there what you'd like to have or whatever, and making an effort, yeah, because I've tried. And yeah, I know. Yeah, hanging out with Mike. Oh, that is you. I think I recognized the profile picture, I think. Uh, yeah, the ivermectin thing, GH, yeah, for Salem. Uh, it's not that I don't want to try to help him or that I don't care. It was really, really difficult giving medicine to Mr. and Bagheera and all of that. I don't know enough about that with dosage. I'd have to go and get his weight. Like, even if I could afford chemotherapy for Salem, I don't think I would do that to him. I don't even think I would want chemotherapy, to be honest with you. So that's why I haven't talked about it much, because I honestly haven't been able to go back to the vet since Mr. died. So, like I said, and I changed when he died. A little bit, anyway. I still haven't taken a lot of the stuff out of the boxes and things like that. There's no desire there. So, for that, sir. So, I don't know what to do. We are living every day the best we can all together here. I'm on a very limited budget. I know, I don't even know where I would get that. I think it's a horse parasite medicine or something. I tell you, if I had a husband who I love and trusted, just being able to balance things out. It's definitely a very difficult situation for me. And for him, he seems to be doing all right. He's eating, drinking, going to the bathroom. He doesn't seem like he's in any pain. So, but, like what you see me doing now is basically the most I can do. Without love and support in my life, I haven't gotten much further. Well, it's not guaranteed that a horse parasite medicine will take care of Salem's cancer. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He has an increased appetite. He's not rapidly losing weight, but the lumpy bumpies have increased and they go all down the back. So I've been a little bit in denial about it, I won't lie. And I do. I love him. I'm going to try, I promise you, to do what I can for him. It's a bit complicated, as you can see. Thanks, Binky. Yeah, but not me. It's Salem. Yeah, I'm fairly sure. Like, I'm not positive because we haven't had a veterinary diagnosis, but lumpy bumpies on both sides, all down the spine, is cancer. So, Salem is Salem will be 7 years old, April 20th, this month. So they gave him a lot of vaccines and stuff at the shelters and whatever. That's where I adopted him from. He was 6 months old, but they just vaxxed to the max. So I figure that's what did it. But these will be my last animals ever. I cannot do it again. I don't know how I will hold up. But that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Thank you. Just pray for him, because I know that there's people out there that have seen his picture in my music videos or whatever and probably cursed him. Who knows, Could be that, could be just life, I don't know, but prayers always help, And I kind of thought that it would be a risk, that I could put the ones I love in danger, but I've been trying my best to protect them energetically, you know what I mean? Pray for them, always pray for our protection equally, and all of that. So, I mean, I lost Bagheera, and then Dixie died, my dog, a year later. And Mr. Sweet Cheeks died last year, and then Bagheera's on it, or Salem, probably doesn't have too many years left. I don't know how long they can live with this, but yeah, I know. I just wish I had the emotional and mental support, not financial. I can take care of things, even if it means I need to go get a small loan to be able to get him into the vet. Mostly I have to get a loan every single month now, just to be able to get through the month, but then I pay the loan off and then I can get the loan again. So yeah, we're making it work, but just the mental, emotional support, it means the world of difference to an individual. And that is something I have not had. No one's wanted to be there for me for the most part. It's rare. And then if they are and you're not ready for something and they're like, no, I don't want to deal with you no more or whatever. So it was really hard to lose my mister. He was 15 years old and the longest soul that's ever stayed in my life. We shared love and friendship. No, this is inside next to his spine, and you can tell like he's famished a lot. Like in the morning, he eats like 2 cans of food now. And yeah, I can tell I'm very intuitive. I knew when Mr. was getting sick, and it's not that I'm manifesting it or anything. And I don't want that. I feel very helpless. Like I'm already doing the most I can do with the energy I have. And like, I know it's such a downer, but I was really hoping that I would have this, loving relationship with an individual. You would have this renewable, mutually shared energy that refreshes you with the power of love, Just getting a hug from somebody you love is very healing. Yeah. Yeah, so I know it's they do though. And so it could be, something along those lines, but hopefully not. Everything has its time, and he is very young. So, like I said, I've been just praying almost every day to have this special connection where I can feel comfortable and trust and all of that, and to have that support with another individual, so that I know it seems weak, but sometimes we just need a little bit of a helping hand, for me to be able to go back to the vet again and to face this. I know I'm going to have to anyway. And I just hope that I can mentally and emotionally get through it, honestly, because it's going to be a doozy for me again. It will never, nothing that happens is ever going to stop me from this life path, Even when I considered shutting things down the other day, I didn't. So it's just very unfortunate because he gave me a lot of love. A lot. He climbs into bed every night, and if I'm laying right like this, he'll massage like my arm right here underneath the blanket, where he comes right up and he does that kneading thing right on my chest by my heart. He's purring, and he's a very loving boy, So that's where my source of love comes from. And so as it gets smaller and I just can't bear it, and then Marvin's going to be all alone, I'm going to miss him. Well, I think that's the end of the live. Death is part of life. But my world just keeps getting smaller. Okay. Thank you. Well, he's not gone yet. He sounds like he was a really good guy. I don't know what you mean by that. If you're talking about my cat or what, I'm not sure, but he's not gone. He's my good boy. I've never had loved ones in the family. I don't remember them. For the most part, I can't remember what people even looked like. So, I know I will see my family that I have made here in this life again, but some people do not understand that that's all some people have. They've never had the gift and joy of having human companionship. So, anyway, thank you for being here with me today. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you, Orion, Jay White, Binky, 7-Layer Sphere, Mike, Scott. I thank you all so much. I'm sorry it's been a while, but I'm glad that we were able to talk about these things. and that I was able to express myself in a more clear and coherent and calm manner, cool, calm, and collected. So, well, thank you, Jay White. And I mean, I don't mean it in a selfish way about this. And we're all making a difference in the world. But I think deep down, we all want to see differences in our own personal worlds. I am trying. So we do have a choice with every day, and I'm trying to make the best of what I have and what I've been given. But the disconnect, I was just hoping to repair it, and at least, like I said, know what love is and experience that before I leave this world, especially with another human being. So yeah. Oh, hello, Phil. Welcome. We're just about to close up, but you are welcome to rewatch the stream if you like. It's good you stopped by, and I'm happy to see you. I can try to do another one of these when I'm feeling up to it. And I'll schedule it beforehand so that people can know. And yeah, your prayers and well wishes and just your overall support is greatly appreciated. And I thank you for caring about me. And I'm sorry that I know I don't have to apologize about it, but I just didn't exactly, I've attempted to talk about these subjects before. It just didn't go so well. Or it was something that I wasn't comfortable leaving out in the open to the world. So I probably took it down. Well, if I met them already, then they would be here, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? Ryan, if I had met that person, and I mean, like, I don't know who you're meaning, if it's like the divine partner, because I mean, that's what I pray for. It's been so difficult. Like, my husband could be my best friend. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But you'd think that if I met them already, that there would be some indication that they would be present in my actual, real, in-person life. And I mean that in no way disrespectfully, because I'm very grateful for these online connections that I've made. But in reality, what I very much require and need is real life in-person connections, Yeah. Thanks, Shelly. I'll be all right. And I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen again soon, because it's extremely exhausting for me too. Like, it just takes everything out of me to go through all of that. It's almost like having your energy things all put up and you're just exhausted after. Oh, well, thank you very much, Seven Layer. It's very nice of you to say. And what you see in me is also in you. Remember that. Everyone. So I hope you all have a good weekend too. Enjoy it. Get outside if you can. Breathe in the fresh air. And just to be grateful and appreciate it. Appreciate that you can see the blue sky if you can. And it's just the little things in life that sometimes can be in the most needed ways, revitalizing to our mind, body, and soul. So, thank you again for being here. I appreciate you spending this time with me. I'm going to say good night and goodbye. Good night and take care in the chat. And thank you. And yeah, I wish you all well. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye. First time I was just kidding. Signing off. Oh, shit. What's that thing? Oh, pew, pew. Bye.